SpaceX aborts rocket mission 33 seconds before launch after a cruise liner sailed close to the launch site. Launch setbacks are nothing new for SpaceX. Stopping a rocket launch is most often due to bad weather or technical issues. However, SpaceX was forced to cancel its Sunday flight out of the planned 52 missions of this year due to an unusual circumstance. A cruise ship that was just in the wrong place at the wrong time cruised into the no-go zone just 33 seconds before SpaceX was forced to abort the rocket launching. How did that come to be? What are the consequences? And why did SpaceX abort its rocket mission 33 seconds before launch? Welcome to your favorite channel, Unlimited SpaceX. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting news about SpaceX projects and Elon Musk's many controversies. Are there any ulterior motives for this SpaceX launch? Perhaps there's something sinister about it that causes Mother Nature to turn her bad eyes on the Falcon 9 launches and the delays befalling it. Is it only the Falcon 9 that would be used for all the pre-planned 51 launches? This video will shed light on the issues and circumstances surrounding SpaceX Falcon 9 launches and their delays. In its capacity as a space exploration firm, SpaceX had a busy year in 2021, but this year could be the company's busiest and best year yet. In order to supply the entire planet with broadband internet, SpaceX is now building out a gigantic satellite constellation called Starlink, which will see hundreds of spacecraft launching into low to medium Earth orbit. This construction is presently underway by SpaceX. Approximately 50 to 60 satellites have been launched by SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket every 2 weeks. Designed and built by SpaceX, the Falcon 9 medium-lift launch vehicle is a partially reusable, two-stage to orbit medium-lift spacecraft. The most recent version of the first stage may return to Earth and fly multiple times. In the first and second stages, which are driven by SpaceX Merlin engines, cryogenic liquid oxygen and rocket-grade kerosene are employed as propellants. The Millennium Falcon is a fictional Star Wars spacecraft, and the Merlin engines that power the rocket's first stage are named after the mythical Star Wars spacecraft. We think we can also refer to it as a magical vehicle. The launch of a Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral was slated for last week Thursday but was postponed. The rocket was supposed to carry an Italian space agency radar surveillance satellite into orbit. However, the looming threat of bad weather compelled the company to delay the launch until the weekend. As a result of scheduling issues, the launch was originally slated for Friday and Saturday, and eventually Sunday. That was when it happened. A rogue cruise ship was discovered in the launch hazard zone just as the weather is starting to cooperate, putting the entire operation at risk. And because of this, the Falcon 9 launch was once again delayed. The CSG-2 was SpaceX's fourth failed launch attempt in a row, and the company had no choice but to abandon the mission. After 3 scrubs due to inclement weather, Mother Nature was on her best behavior until the cruise ship went ahead to destroy SpaceX's launch plans. Not only did the cruise ship prevent the SpaceX launch from taking place, but it did it at the very last minute as well. That's something we mean almost literally. When the rocket was ready to go off, there were just about 35 seconds left on the clock. Afterwards, the cruise liner sailed into the hazard zone, prompting the launch's director to issue an order to hold everyone on board. The rocket was ready to be launched, but they were unable to prevent the cruise ship from entering the hazard zone due to technical difficulties. Despite claims from Elon Musk's SpaceX that the rocket and payload were in perfect working order, the Coast Guard was unable to keep the cruise liner out of the no-go zone, forcing the launch to be called off. 2 ships could have been held responsible for the cancellations of the launch that day. The Harmony of the Seas, operated by Royal Caribbean, was off the coast of Brevard County after departing Port Canaveral on Sunday afternoon, while the MSC Meraviglia was still on the port channel nearby. But what eventually happened to the Falcon 9 launch? Well, after a long wait, a successful launch of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral was achieved at long last. It went live at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. The weather was clear, and the cruise ships, of course, stayed out of the no-go zone as SpaceX successfully launched a Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station to orbit the Earth. The Royal Caribbean ship Harmony of the Seas, which was sailing south of Port Canaveral in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Melbourne on Sunday, was identified as the source of the intrusion by the United States Coast Guard on Monday. The Cosmos SkyMed second-generation FM2 satellite, operated by the Italian Space Agency, was what was launched into orbit by SpaceX on Monday. In addition to providing defense, environmental, and other observations for Italy and adjacent or neighboring countries in the Mediterranean region, it is the second of 4 new satellites that will replace the first and original 4 that were launched between the years 2007 and 2010. Further, with these successful launches, though without delays, the second wave of Starlink satellites will be launched from Florida later this week by SpaceX, according to the business. In addition, a California-based commercial private space company will also launch a classified payload for the National Reconnaissance Office, according to the company's website. In 2021, SpaceX set a new milestone for launching 3 separate flights in a week for the first time. After launching 2 sets of satellites back-to-back, they also made a trip to the International Space Station in December, Fox Weather reports. Since the beginning of January, SpaceX has successfully launched 4 rockets from the Space Coast in Florida. At Canaveral's Landing Zone 1, a SpaceX first-stage booster was successfully recovered, making it the company's 104th successful recovery of a rocket engine. There had been a total of 3 booster flights and 3 fairing flights before this one. So far this year, SpaceX has launched 4 Falcon 9 rockets, the first of which took off in January 6th. With Elon Musk declaring in 2020 that he would launch 48 rockets in 2021, SpaceX has a history of making bold statements. However, the company only managed to launch 31 rockets in 2021. As of now, as far as this year is concerned, SpaceX is on track with their schedule to launch a rocket once a week throughout the year 2022, including hundreds of Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit, with a rocket launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida. If the space company can improve on its 31 launches last year, which carried a mixture of corporate and government payloads, it'll have accomplished a spectacular feat. In the words of former American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics Executive Director Sandra Magnus, this is an incredible pace. She voiced her concerns about space safety during a virtual meeting of the NASA Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel, ASAP. Sandra Magnus stated that SpaceX will be responsible for ensuring that proper attention is paid to NASA missions and that the required resources are made available. It is unclear whether the Falcon 9 will be used for all 52 scheduled launches, or whether there will be Falcon Heavy or even Starship prototype launches in addition to Falcon 9. It may and it may not be used. We should cross our fingers and wait to see. By the spring of this year, the company expects to have successfully launched the first orbital prototype of its Starship rocket into orbit. Ability to reuse parts of rockets has been cited as one of the primary reasons why SpaceX has been able to launch so frequently, landing boosters and recovering nosicones, all of which have been reused in subsequent launches. As a result of this ability to reuse the rocket's part, it brings the cost of each mission down from the usual average of $60 to $90 million per trip to approximately $30 million per trip. Therefore, more SpaceX launches are more feasible. But aside from that, spaceflight timetables are always prone to change, so there's no certainty that SpaceX will fulfill its goal of 52 launches. The only thing we can do now is wait and see how they'll triumph over Mother Nature and other unfavorable and unknown circumstances. We're rooting for SpaceX anyway, because we know Elon Musk gets done whatever he sets his mind on. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon at our next video.